In a world bustling with constant interactions and external distractions, the concept of being alone can often feel uncomfortable or even frightening. Yet, within the serenity of solitude lies a profound gift, the opportunity to reconnect with your inner self and uncover the boundless joy that resides within. Imagine a life where happiness doesn't rely on others' approval, external achievements, or fleeting moments of social validation. Instead, it emanates from a place of stillness, self-discovery, and inner strength. This idea aligns perfectly with the wisdom of Buddhism, which teaches us that peace and contentment are found within, not outside ourselves. In this exploration, we'll dive deep into the transformative power of solitude, guided by 7 essential lessons from Buddhism. But this isn't just a reiteration of ancient teachings. We'll bring these concepts to life through modern examples, relatable stories, and practical insights that make the journey of embracing solitude both accessible and inspiring. So, if you've ever felt the pull to understand yourself better, to navigate life with more clarity, or to find peace amid chaos, this is your moment. Together, we'll uncover why being alone isn't a weakness but one of the greatest sources of strength and joy. Let's begin this journey to unlock the treasure of solitude, your ultimate companion in the pursuit of happiness. Lesson 1: Embrace solitude over foolish company. In today's society, being surrounded by others is often celebrated as a sign of a fulfilling life. Social media glorifies popularity, and we're constantly encouraged to stay connected. But have you ever paused to consider the quality of those connections? Are they meaningful, or do they sometimes feel like distractions from what truly matters? Buddhism reminds us that solitude can be far more valuable than maintaining superficial or negative relationships. As the Buddha wisely advised, it is better to travel alone than with a fool. Solitude isn't just about being physically alone, it's about creating space to nurture your mind, body, and soul without the noise of unproductive company. Why solitude is powerful. When we embrace solitude, we remove the clutter of external distractions and allow ourselves to experience clarity and peace. Imagine a quiet room filled with natural light. It's in this calm setting that you can finally hear your own thoughts and connect with your true self. Negative or foolish company, on the other hand, often drains our energy. Gossip, envy, or superficial conversations don't just waste time, they prevent us from growing spiritually and emotionally. Solitude gives us the opportunity to step back, reevaluate our relationships, and cultivate deeper, more meaningful connections. A story of clarity through solitude. Consider the story of Asha, a young woman who lived in a bustling city. Asha was constantly surrounded by friends, but she often felt unfulfilled and overwhelmed by their incessant need for validation and drama. One weekend, she decided to take a solitary retreat to a quiet cabin in the countryside. Initially, the silence felt strange and unsettling. However, as the days passed, Asha began to enjoy her own company. She read books, journaled her thoughts, and reflected on her relationships. By the end of the weekend, she realized that many of her friendships were built on convenience rather than genuine connection. Inspired by her newfound clarity, Asha returned home and chose to prioritize relationships that nurtured her well-being while letting go of those that didn't. The lesson for us. The story of Asha illustrates the transformative power of solitude. When we step away from the chaos of unproductive relationships, we create room for peace, growth, and authentic connections. Solitude is not about isolation, it's about choosing quality over quantity. In this quiet space, you'll find the strength to focus on what truly matters. Whether it's your goals, passions, or personal values, solitude becomes the foundation for a life aligned with your inner truth. Lesson 2: Master your emotions through awareness. Our emotions are like waves, they rise and fall, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent. But what if, instead of being swept away by these waves, you learn to observe them, understand them, and respond wisely? This is the essence of emotional mastery in Buddhism. The Buddha taught that suffering often arises not from our emotions themselves but from our attachment to them or aversion toward them. Through mindfulness and awareness, we can transform our emotional struggles into opportunities for growth and understanding. Why emotional awareness matters. When emotions take control, we often act impulsively, saying or doing things we later regret. For example, anger can lead to conflict. Fear may cause us to avoid important challenges. Jealousy can damage relationships and erode self-esteem. By becoming aware of our emotional patterns, we gain the power to pause, reflect, and choose our responses instead of reacting instinctively. A Zen story of emotional awareness. One day, a monk named Kisho sought the advice of his master after experiencing intense frustration. "Master," he said, "I try to meditate, but my thoughts are chaotic, and my anger only grows stronger." The master smiled and handed Kisho a glass of muddy water. "Shake this glass," he instructed. The monk did so, making the water even cloudier. "Now," the master continued, "place it down and wait." Kisho watched as the dirt slowly settled, leaving clear water behind. The master explained, "Your mind is like this glass. When you are overwhelmed by emotion, everything seems unclear. But if you sit patiently and observe, clarity will return. The key is not to fight your emotions but to allow them to settle naturally." Practical steps to master your emotions. 1. Pause and breathe. When you feel overwhelmed, take a deep breath. Breathing calms the nervous system and creates space between feeling and reaction. 2. Name the emotion. Simply labeling your emotion, "This is anger," or "This is sadness," can help you detach from it. By naming it, you recognize it as a temporary experience rather than a permanent state. 3. Reflect, don't react. Instead of acting immediately, ask yourself, "What is this emotion teaching me? What is the wisest response in this moment?" 4. Practice letting go. Understand that emotions are like passing clouds. They come and go. Holding on to anger or fear only prolongs suffering. The gift of emotional mastery. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them, it means understanding them. When you approach emotions with mindfulness, you transform them into tools for self-awareness and growth. This practice takes time and patience, but the rewards are profound: greater peace, deeper relationships, and a stronger sense of self. Lesson 3. Cultivating compassion toward yourself and others. In Buddhism, compassion is the heart of emotional transformation. It's the bridge that connects our inner world with the outer, turning suffering into understanding and isolation into connection. While it's often easier to show compassion to others, self-compassion is equally essential. Without it, we become harsh critics of ourselves, amplifying emotional pain rather than alleviating it. This lesson explores how to nurture compassion in all its forms. Understanding compassion. Compassion begins with recognizing the shared nature of suffering. We all experience pain, loss, and disappointment, but these experiences also create opportunities to open our hearts. The Buddha taught that compassion is not pity. Instead, it's an active desire to alleviate suffering, accompanied by kindness and wisdom. A story of true compassion. A woman named Kisa Gautami approached the Buddha, carrying the body of her deceased son. She was devastated and begged the Buddha to bring him back to life. The Buddha, understanding her grief, gave her a task: bring me a mustard seed from a household where no one has experienced death. Kisa traveled from home to home, but everywhere she went, she found families who had lost loved ones. She realized that suffering was universal. Returning to the Buddha, she said, "I understand now that I am not alone in my sorrow." The Buddha replied, "Compassion arises when we see that our suffering connects us to others, not separates us." Through this realization, Kisa found peace and began to heal. Cultivating self-compassion. 1. Speak kindly to yourself. Notice the way you talk to yourself during difficult times. Replace self-criticism with words of encouragement and understanding. 2. Practice forgiveness. Forgive yourself for mistakes. Remember, every misstep is a lesson on your path. 3. Honor your needs. Take time to rest, reflect, and care for your mental and physical well-being. Extending compassion to others. 1. Listen without judgment. Often, people just need to be heard. By offering your presence, you show them they're not alone. 2. See beyond actions. Understand that harmful behavior often stems from pain. This doesn't excuse the behavior, but it helps you respond with empathy instead of anger. 3. Practice loving-kindness meditation. Close your eyes and silently repeat. Oh, may I be happy. Oh, may I be healthy. Oh, may I be free from suffering. Then extend this wish to others, even those you find difficult. Oh, may you be happy. Oh, may you be healthy. Oh, may you be free from suffering. The power of compassion. Compassion transforms relationships and helps us navigate the challenges of life with grace. It's not a sign of weakness but a profound strength that allows us to heal ourselves and others. By cultivating compassion, you align with the Buddha's teaching that true peace comes from easing suffering wherever it exists. Lesson 4. The impermanence of emotions. One of the core teachings in Buddhism is the concept of impermanence, or anicca. Everything in life, our emotions, circumstances, and even our thoughts, is in constant flux. Understanding this truth is key to managing emotions effectively, as it allows us to let go of attachment and cultivate a sense of inner freedom. Why do we suffer? The Buddha taught that clinging is the root cause of suffering. We cling to happiness, fearing its end, or resist sadness, wishing it would disappear. However, emotions are like waves, they rise, peak, and eventually fade away. By embracing impermanence, we learn to experience emotions fully without becoming trapped by them. A Zen story on impermanence. A wise Zen master was approached by a student in distress. The student lamented, "Master, I am overwhelmed by sadness and can't seem to escape it." The master handed the student a cup of tea and said, "Drink this." Confused, the student drank the tea. The master then asked, "Where is the tea now?" The student replied, "It is gone." The master smiled. "Just like the tea, your sadness is here now but will not stay forever. Understand that all things, including this moment, are impermanent." The student's heart felt lighter as they grasped the lesson: no emotion, no matter how intense, lasts forever. Practical ways to embrace impermanence. 1. Observe your emotions without judgment. Oh, when an emotion arises, instead of labeling it as good or bad, simply observe it. Notice how it feels in your body and mind. Oh, example, if you're angry, acknowledge it by saying, "This is anger." Then watch as it changes and dissipates. 2. Practice mindfulness. Oh, focus on the present moment. Use your breath as an anchor to prevent getting carried away by emotions. Oh, try this. Take 3 deep breaths, observing the sensations of each inhale and exhale. 3. Reflect on change in nature. Oh, spend time in nature and observe its cycles. A flower blooms and withers, a river flows but never stays the same. Oh, these reflections remind us that impermanence is natural and beautiful. Letting go of emotional attachments. 1. Release control. Often, we try to control how we feel or how long an emotion lasts. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, it means allowing them to come and go naturally. 2. Gratitude for the present. When you're happy, cherish the moment without fearing its end. When you're sad, trust that it will pass. 3. Remember the bigger picture. Step back and remind yourself that emotions are part of life's flow. They don't define you. The freedom of acceptance. When we accept impermanence, we free ourselves from the prison of clinging and resistance. Emotions no longer control us, instead, they become teachers, guiding us toward deeper understanding and peace. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us that by embracing impermanence, we can weather life's storms with equanimity, knowing that no matter how turbulent things seem, calm always follows. Lesson 5, The Art of Detachment, Finding Balance Without Indifference. Detachment, or upekkha in Buddhist teachings, often carries the misconception of coldness or lack of care. However, true detachment is about cultivating equanimity, a state of calmness and balance in the face of life's ups and downs. This lesson delves into the essence of detachment, helping us engage with the world without becoming consumed by it. Underscore 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 underscore. What is detachment? Detachment doesn't mean withdrawing from life or suppressing emotions. Instead, it's the practice of engaging fully while maintaining inner peace, regardless of the outcome. Attachment is grasping tightly to desires, people, or situations. Detachment is releasing the need for control while appreciating the present moment. Buddhism teaches that clinging leads to suffering, but detachment allows us to live freely and authentically. A Zen story on detachment. A monk and his student were walking through a forest when they reached a river. A young woman stood at the edge, unable to cross. The monk offered to carry her on his back, and she gratefully accepted. After crossing, the monk set her down, and the two continued their journey. Hours later, the student asked, "Master, why did you carry that woman? We monks are not supposed to touch women." The monk replied, "I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story highlights how detachment frees us from unnecessary burdens. The monk let go of the moment after it passed, but the student clung to it, creating inner turmoil. Practical steps to practice detachment. 1. Let go of expectations. When we expect specific outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, focus on your efforts and let results unfold naturally. Example, if you're working on a project, put your best into it without obsessing over perfection. 2. Appreciate without possessing. Enjoy life's pleasures without trying to hold on to them. This prevents anxiety about loss. Try this, the next time you experience joy, a sunset, a good meal, or laughter with a friend, simply savor the moment without wishing it would last forever. 3. Recognize what you can and cannot control. Accept that you cannot control everything. Focus on what's within your power and release the rest. Reflect, ask yourself, am I clinging to something I can't change? Engaging without attachment. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. In fact, it allows us to love and care more deeply because we're not weighed down by fear or possessiveness. Healthy attachment. Loving others without needing them to meet our expectations. Example, supporting a friend's decisions even if they differ from what you choose. Unhealthy attachment. Relying on external things or people for your happiness. Example, feeling incomplete without constant validation from others. The freedom of detachment. When we release attachments, we find liberation. Detachment doesn't diminish our experiences, it enhances them by removing the fear of loss. Exercises to deepen detachment. 1. Meditation on letting go. Sit in a quiet place. Close your eyes and imagine holding a pebble tightly in your fist. Gradually open your hand, allowing the pebble to fall. Notice the sense of relief as you let it go. 2. Daily reflection. At the end of the day, ask yourself, did I cling to anything today? What could I have released? 3. Practice generosity. Share your time, resources, or skills without expecting anything in return. This helps break the cycle of attachment. Lesson 6, The Middle Way, Balancing Extremes in Life. The middle way, or Majjhima Patipada, is a core teaching in Buddhism that emphasizes a path of balance, avoiding the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. This principle, rooted in the Buddha's own journey to enlightenment, provides practical wisdom for navigating life's challenges. The origin of the middle way. Before his enlightenment, Siddhartha Gautama explored both extremes. A life of luxury as a prince, which left him unfulfilled. A life of severe asceticism, which weakened his body and spirit. Neither extreme led to liberation. It was through finding balance, nurturing both body and mind, that he discovered the path to enlightenment. What is the middle way? The middle way isn't about mediocrity, it's about mindful moderation. It means aligning our thoughts, actions, and desires in a way that fosters inner peace and wisdom. Key aspects include: 1. Avoiding overindulgence, recognizing the fleeting nature of pleasures and not letting them control us. 2. Avoiding self-denial, taking care of our physical and emotional needs to support spiritual growth. A parable on the middle way. The Buddha often used analogies to illustrate the middle way. One famous example involves a musical instrument. Just as the strings of a lute must be neither too tight nor too loose to produce harmonious music, so too must our lives strike a balance between extremes. This parable reminds us that life requires careful tuning. Overexertion leads to burnout, while neglect leads to stagnation. Applying the middle way in daily life. 1. Balance in work and rest. Overworking leads to stress, while excessive idleness fosters laziness. The middle way encourages mindful productivity. Practice, set boundaries for work hours and prioritize self-care. 2. Balancing desires and contentment. It's natural to have goals, but obsessing over material achievements can lead to dissatisfaction. Appreciate what you have while striving for growth. Reflect, are you chasing something at the expense of your peace? 3. Moderation in speech. Speak truthfully but with kindness. Avoid both harshness and insincere flattery. Try this, pause before speaking to ensure your words are both honest and compassionate. 4. Health and well-being. Neither neglect your body nor obsess over physical perfection. The middle way values a healthy relationship with your body. Practice, choose a balanced diet and moderate exercise routine. Challenges in practicing the middle way. While simple in concept, the middle way requires constant mindfulness. Modern life often pulls us toward extremes, whether in work, relationships, or consumption. Tips for overcoming these challenges. Pause and reflect. When making decisions, ask yourself if you're leaning too far in one direction. Mindful meditation, use meditation to center yourself, fostering clarity and balance. Cultivate patience, balancing extremes is a gradual process. Be kind to yourself as you learn. Benefits of the middle way. Inner peace, reducing extreme behaviors fosters mental calm. Resilience, a balanced mind is better equipped to handle adversity. Harmonious relationships, moderation in actions and speech strengthens connections with others. Exercises to embrace the middle way. 1. The Balance Journal. At the end of each day, write down one area where you achieved balance and one where you struggled. Reflect on how you can adjust tomorrow. 2. Mindful decision-making. Before committing to an action, pause and consider. Am I acting out of impulse or mindful intention? Will this decision contribute to balance in my life? 3. Meditation on harmony. Sit in stillness and focus on your breath. Visualize a scale gently balancing as you exhale and inhale. Let this symbolize the balance you seek in life. Lesson 7. The Nature of Suffering, Understanding Dukkha. In Buddhism, the nature of suffering, dukkha, is a fundamental teaching. The Buddha's first noble truth states that life is inherently unsatisfactory, but understanding the nature of suffering and its causes can lead to liberation. This lesson will delve into the nature of suffering and explore how we can transcend it through awareness and mindfulness. What is dukkha? Dukkha is often translated as suffering, but it encompasses more than just pain or distress. It refers to any form of dissatisfaction or unease that arises from our attachment to impermanent things. This includes physical pain, illness, injury, aging, and death. Emotional pain, disappointment, sadness, fear, and anxiety. Mental pain, the frustration and anxiety that arise from unmet desires or expectations. The three types of dukkha. The Buddha described three distinct types of suffering. 1. Dukkha, ordinary suffering. This refers to the basic, everyday suffering we experience: pain, illness, aging, and death. It is the most obvious form of suffering. 2. Viparinama, suffering of change. This type of suffering arises from the impermanence of all things. Even the most pleasant experiences are temporary, and we suffer when we try to hold on to them or resist change. 3. Sankhara, suffering of conditioned existence. This is a deeper, more subtle form of suffering. It is the dissatisfaction that arises from the very nature of existence itself, rooted in our attachment to the self and the belief in a permanent, unchanging identity. The root causes of suffering. The Buddha identified three main causes of suffering, often called the three poisons or three unwholesome roots. 1. Greed, lobha. Greed is the desire for more possessions, more pleasure, more experiences. This craving leads to attachment and the inability to enjoy what we already have. 2. Hatred, dosa. Hatred refers to the aversion or ill will we feel toward people, situations, or even our own emotions. It is a reaction to things we don't like, leading to resentment, anger, and suffering. 3. Delusion, moha. Delusion is ignorance or misunderstanding of the true nature of reality. It is the root of all misperceptions, where we mistake impermanence for permanence, suffering for happiness, and self for an unchanging entity. How dukkha manifests in our lives. Attachment to pleasant experiences. When we enjoy something, we often want it to last forever. However, everything is impermanent, and clinging to experiences inevitably leads to suffering. Aversion to unpleasant experiences. Conversely, when we experience something unpleasant, we try to avoid it at all costs, which leads to stress and resistance. The desire for a permanent self. We often think of ourselves as a permanent, unchanging entity, but the Buddha taught that there is no permanent self. This illusion creates suffering as we fight against change and death. The path to overcoming suffering. The Buddha's second noble truth teaches that the cause of suffering is desire and attachment. By recognizing these desires, we can begin to transform our relationship with them. The third noble truth offers hope. The cessation of suffering is possible by letting go of attachment and greed. Practical steps for transcending suffering. 1. Mindful awareness. Practice mindfulness to observe how attachment and aversion arise in your mind. Notice how they lead to suffering. Begin with mindful breathing or meditation to develop the ability to witness your thoughts and emotions without being consumed by them. 2. Cultivating compassion and forgiveness. To counter hatred, cultivate compassion for yourself and others. Forgiving others, and yourself, helps release the grip of resentment and anger. 3. Letting go of attachments. Reflect on the impermanent nature of things. Whether it's a relationship, an object, or even a feeling, remind yourself that everything is temporary. Letting go of attachments frees us from the suffering of clinging. 4. Wisdom and insight. Cultivate wisdom through study, reflection, and meditation. By understanding the nature of impermanence and the lack of a permanent self, you can begin to overcome delusion and suffering. The benefits of understanding dukkha. Emotional resilience. Understanding suffering helps you respond more calmly to life's difficulties. Freedom from attachment. With awareness, you learn to enjoy life without becoming attached to it. Deep compassion. By recognizing the universal nature of suffering, you develop greater compassion for others. Exercises for transcending suffering. 1. The practice of non-attachment. Pick an object or experience you enjoy. Practice letting it go for a short period of time. Notice how it feels to not be attached to it. This exercise helps develop the ability to enjoy without clinging. 2. Compassion meditation. Spend time meditating on compassion. Visualize sending love and well wishes to yourself and others, especially those who have caused you harm. This helps transform negative emotions into positive ones. 3. Reflect on impermanence. Reflect daily on the impermanent nature of all things. You might consider how your thoughts, emotions, and even your body change constantly. This awareness helps reduce attachment and ease suffering. The Buddha's teachings on suffering offer profound insights into the nature of life and the human experience. While suffering is inevitable, the path to liberation is available to all who seek it. By practicing mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, we can transcend suffering and achieve lasting peace. Embracing the path to liberation. Understanding the nature of suffering, dukkha, is a crucial step on the path to enlightenment. While suffering is an inherent part of life, the Buddha's teachings offer us a profound and practical way to transform our relationship with it. Through mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, we can break free from the cycle of attachment and aversion, and cultivate peace, joy, and freedom. By embracing the Four Noble Truths and following the Noble Eightfold Path, we can begin to heal the wounds of suffering. The path is not always easy, but it is a journey of self-discovery and liberation. Each step taken in mindfulness, each moment of compassion, and each insight gained from meditation brings us closer to the ultimate truth, that suffering can be transcended, and lasting peace is possible. As we move forward, may we continue to apply these teachings in our daily lives, bringing more light and understanding to ourselves and to others. With patience, persistence, and practice, we can find freedom from suffering and walk the path of wisdom, compassion, and true happiness.